What if I told you that your brain has already decided who you're going to marry, even before you have your first conversation? It's not magic, it's neurobiology. According to research from Harvard University, the brain uses powerful, subconscious signals to pick a partner, signals that are far beyond our control. The scary part? We're often completely unaware of them. Ready to learn what your brain knows about love that you don't? Let's break it down. Hey, story lover! Welcome to the Narrative Hub, Reddit Stories. Believe me, this adventure gets wild, but it's only epic with you. Seriously, you make this possible. Want more stories? Greater adventure? Smash subscribe right now. Smash like. Comment below. Let's go. The neurochemical heist. Your brain is literally stealing your romantic future, and it's happening right now as you watch this video. Dr. Stephanie Ortigue from Syracuse University made a discovery that should terrify every hopeless romantic on the planet. Using advanced fMRI technology, she found that your amygdala, that ancient alarm system buried deep in your temporal lobe, takes less than half a second to tag a potential mate. Not your heart, not your soul. A primitive neural circuit that's been running the same program for 200,000 years. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. That 0.5-second scan isn't looking for compatibility, shared interests, or even physical beauty in the way you think. Your brain is running a full-scale biological background check, analyzing genetic markers, facial symmetry, and reproductive fitness indicators that you're not even consciously aware of. Think about your last first date. While you were nervously adjusting your outfit and rehearsing conversation starters, your neural circuits had already made their verdict. The person sitting across from you? Your brain knew within 500 milliseconds whether they were genetically compatible with you. The most chilling part? This decision happens completely outside your conscious awareness. You think you're falling in love with their sense of humor or their career ambitions, but your neurons are playing an entirely different game. The dopamine deception. Now let's talk about the chemical lie that's been fooling humans for millennia. Oxford researchers made a discovery that should make every dating app developer nervous. When your brain identifies a potential match, it floods your system with dopamine, the same neurotransmitter involved in cocaine addiction. But here's the kicker. The dopamine hit from seeing your type is actually twice as intense as what cocaine users experience. Dr. Helen Fisher from Rutgers University spent decades studying this phenomenon. Her brain imaging studies revealed something that changes everything we thought we knew about love. That butterflies in your stomach feeling? That electric spark when your eyes meet across a crowded room? It's not romance, it's addiction. Your brain has literally evolved to become chemically dependent on certain types of people. But evolution doesn't care about your happiness. It cares about genetic survival. This means your brain is hardwired to crave partners who will help your genes survive, not necessarily partners who will make you happy. This is why opposites attract and why they often implode. Your neural reward system is drawn to genetic diversity, pushing you toward partners whose immune systems complement yours. But complementary genetics don't guarantee compatible personalities. The data is brutal. Couples with the highest initial dopamine spikes also show the highest divorce rates within the first 3 years. Your brain's chemical matchmaking system is optimized for reproduction, not relationship satisfaction. The unconscious war. But the dopamine deception is just the beginning. UCLA researchers uncovered something even more disturbing. 60% of your romantic type was imprinted before you turned 8 years old. Before you could even spell relationship, your neural pathways were already being carved by forces completely outside your control. Dr. John Gottman's famous Love Lab at the University of Washington can predict divorce with 90% accuracy just by watching couples argue for 15 minutes. How? Because your childhood attachment patterns create neural templates that determine how you respond to conflict, intimacy, and stress. That person you're attracted to? Your childhood ghosts chose them. Every fight your parents had, every moment you felt abandoned or smothered, Every trauma you can't even remember, it's all stored in your limbic system, quietly running a background program that determines who triggers your attachment responses. Here's the truly terrifying part. These neural patterns operate below the threshold of consciousness. You think you're choosing partners based on their qualities, but you're actually being drawn to people who activate familiar neural pathways, even when those pathways were carved by dysfunction. Research from the University of Toronto found that people consistently choose partners who remind their unconscious minds of their opposite-sex parent. Not physically, neurochemically. The way they speak, their emotional patterns, even their scent can trigger these deep-seated neural memories. The biological override. The neuroscience gets even more sinister. Recent studies using real-time brain imaging show that when you're actively choosing a mate, your brain literally rewrites itself. Gene expression patterns in your neural tissue change within minutes of encountering someone your unconscious mind deems genetically suitable. This isn't metaphorical. This is your DNA responding to another person's presence. Your prefrontal cortex starts analyzing social status markers, their posture, speech patterns, clothing choices, even the way they hold their phone. Meanwhile, your limbic system is conducting chemical warfare, releasing cocktails of hormones designed to override your rational decision-making. Here's what's happening during that innocent coffee date. Your olfactory system is analyzing their genetic compatibility through barely detectable pheromones. Your visual cortex is calculating facial symmetry and assessing health markers in skin tone and eye clarity. Your auditory processing centers are evaluating vocal pitch and timbre for indicators of reproductive fitness. All of this happens while you're consciously thinking about whether you have anything in common. The most shocking part? Your brain makes these calculations faster than you can consciously process the information. By the time you've formed your first impression, your neural circuits have already run thousands of microassessments and reached their verdict. The evolutionary mismatch. Here's where modern dating becomes a biological nightmare. Your brain is running 200,000-year-old software in a 21st century environment, and the glitches are everywhere. Dr. David Buss from the University of Texas studied this evolutionary mismatch extensively. Our ancestors chose mates from small tribes where genetic diversity was limited and social structures were stable. Your brain's mate selection algorithm evolved for that environment, not for dating apps with infinite choices and no social consequences. This creates what researchers call choice overload paralysis. Your ancient brain experiences analysis paralysis when faced with too many potential mates. The dopamine reward system, designed to create pair bonds with available partners, instead creates addiction to the search itself. Dating apps exploit this glitch ruthlessly. The intermittent reinforcement schedule, sometimes getting matches, sometimes not, triggers the same neural pathways as gambling addiction. Your brain becomes addicted to swiping, not to finding a partner. But here's the most disturbing revelation. The partners your brain chooses through online algorithms are statistically less compatible than random selection. The conscious mind, overwhelmed by choices, defaults to superficial criteria that often contradict the unconscious compatibility markers your neurons are actually designed to detect. The prediction error crisis. Now we reach the heart of why 67% of marriages fail, and it's not what you think. NIH research reveals that most relationship failures stem from what neuroscientists call prediction errors, moments when reality doesn't match your brain's unconscious expectations. Remember, your neural mate selection system evolved to make quick decisions based on limited information. It creates detailed predictions about a person's behavior, compatibility, and genetic fitness based on those first 500 milliseconds of assessment. But these predictions are often catastrophically wrong in modern contexts. Your brain might identify someone as genetically ideal based on facial symmetry and pheromone compatibility, but it can't predict their emotional intelligence, financial responsibility, or ability to communicate during conflict. The mismatch between biological attraction and actual compatibility creates a neural crisis. When reality consistently violates your brain's predictions, it triggers chronic stress responses. Your nervous system interprets the relationship failure as a survival threat, flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline. This is why breakups feel life-threatening to your ancient brain. They literally are. The cruelest irony? The stronger your initial attraction, the more devastating the prediction errors become. Couples with the most intense chemical connections often experience the most traumatic relationship failures because their brains had such confident and wrong initial predictions. The consciousness hack. But here's the plot twist that changes everything. You can hack the system. Once you understand how your unconscious mate selection operates, you can start making conscious choices that override your neural programming. Dr. Ortigue's follow-up research found that mindfulness meditation actually changes the neural pathways involved in attraction. People who practice conscious awareness of their unconscious patterns show different brain activity when evaluating potential partners. The key is recognizing that your initial attraction isn't wisdom, it's biology. Those butterflies, that instant chemistry, that feeling of knowing someone is right for you, that's just your ancient brain running its genetic algorithms. Real compatibility requires conscious evaluation of factors your unconscious mind ignores: emotional maturity, conflict resolution skills, shared values, and life goals. These factors don't trigger dopamine surges, but they predict long-term relationship success with stunning accuracy. The neuroscience is clear. The most successful long-term partnerships are built on conscious choice, not unconscious attraction. Your brain will choose your spouse based on genetic compatibility, childhood imprints, and evolutionary programming. But you can choose your life partner based on actual compatibility, mutual growth, and conscious commitment. The question isn't whether your brain is choosing your spouse, it's whether you're going to let it make that choice for you. Your unconscious mind brought you here, but your conscious mind gets to decide what happens next. The power was always yours, you just needed to know where to find it. Conclusion. The next time you feel that instant spark with someone, remember, that's not love talking. That's 200,000 years of evolution running its program. The real question is, are you going to be a passenger in your own love life, or are you going to take the wheel? Your brain has been playing matchmaker long enough. Maybe it's time you learned the rules of the game.